Hey, Earl, welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into, building a high-performing sales team, one that really, uh, one that really sticks around. I think we've all heard that stat, right?
Yeah.
About how much sales team turnover costs. Yeah, it can really drain resources.
Absolutely. And the recruiting process, I mean, that can be a huge bottleneck. I've seen so many companies just lose out on the best people because their hiring practices were too slow or just, confusing.
Yeah. Well, luckily for us, we have this article, Three Easy Steps to Recruit and Build a Productive Sales Team Fast. It's by Win Nathan Davis. He's a real expert, been
Yeah.
doing sales recruiting forever. And this article, I mean, it's full of great advice, streamlined approaches, how to maximize your chances of finding the right people. Oh, and minimizing wasted time, of course. So, if you're involved in building sales teams at any level, really, I think you're going to get a lot out of this deep dive.
That's right. This isn't just for, just for HR. This is for anyone who wants to learn how to build a team that really drives revenue and crushes those quotas.
Okay, so let's jump into Davis's first step, crystal clear goals. He's really big on having a really clear vision of your ideal candidate.
Yeah.
Like before you even open up those resumes.
Makes sense, right? I mean, if you don't know what you're looking for, you're just going to waste so much time like sifting through applications, interviewing people that just aren't a good fit. You need to define those non-negotiables, the skills, the experience, even the personality traits that align with your culture and your sales goals.
It's almost like
Yeah.
creating an ideal customer profile, but for your sales team. What are those must-have qualities that guarantee success in your sales environment?
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to say that this isn't just, hard skills. Yeah, you want someone who can close, who can build a pipeline, sure. But you also got to think about things like their communication style,
Mm,
work ethic, their ability to collaborate. They're
yeah,
building a team, after all.
right. Now, Davis's second step is all about speed. He he really pushes for completing that whole interview process within 3 weeks,
Mhm.
and using just two or three really focused interviews. I got to say that sounds pretty ambitious.
It does, doesn't it? But think about it from the candidate's perspective for a second. Top sales talent, they're not just, sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. They're in demand. They're probably juggling multiple opportunities at once. If your process drags on for weeks or even months, you're going to lose them. They're going to go to a competitor who moves faster.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in sales, time is money, right? And that applies to hiring too. You snooze, you lose.
Yeah. I've seen it happen. I don't know how many times. A company gets excited about someone, but then they take forever to schedule interviews, check references, make a decision. And meanwhile, that candidate, they got another offer and they accepted it. They don't want to wait around.
So speed is key, not just to snag the best people, but also to make a good impression on them. Shows them you're organized, that
Yeah.
you're decisive, that you value their time.
Exactly. And Davis, he recommends really making those interviews count. He suggests using role play scenarios so you can get a better sense of their actual selling skills, how they think on their feet. That's how you separate the talkers from the closers, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we have a clear picture of our ideal candidate,
Hmm.
and we're moving quickly through the interview process. What's next?
Well, Davis's third step is all about onboarding. Setting your new hires up for success from day one. He's a big believer in mentorship programs and having a senior sales manager assigned to guide and support each new hire.
It's more than just product training, right? It's about integrating them into the team, sharing best practices, making sure they have the tools and resources they need to hit the ground running.
Exactly. And Davis points out that those first 90 days are critical. That's when new hires are most vulnerable.
Yeah.
To feeling lost or overwhelmed. And if you take a sink or swim approach to onboarding, you're just setting them up for failure.
Yeah. It's like
Oh,
it's like throwing someone into the deep end of the pool without teaching them how to swim.
right. And that's no good for anyone. The best companies, they invest heavily in onboarding. They understand that setting up new hires for success is essential. It's how you build a high performing team.
Makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, you spend all this time and effort finding the right people. You don't want to lose them because you You didn't invest in their development.
Exactly. And the return on investment can be huge, you know. When you have a team of confident, well-trained salespeople, their energy, their enthusiasm, it becomes contagious. It's you can feel it in the whole organization. And it definitely impacts your bottom line.
It really does. Yeah, you can feel it, and it definitely impacts the bottom line.
No question. And that's why it's so important to get these fundamentals right, you know, to defining your ideal candidate, streamlining the interviews, and then providing that really strong onboarding support.
Yeah, Davis really he really hits on those three steps. He says they're essential for any company that wants to build a winning sales team. So. But I'm kind of curious about, going a little deeper here. I mean, defining the ideal candidate, that's a big task. How can our listeners, how can they really nail that down?
You're right. It is. It's more than just saying we need someone who can close deals, right? Davis, he suggests asking yourself a few key questions just to help you get a clearer picture of who that ideal candidate really is. So, for example, instead of just looking at sales numbers on a resume, dig a little deeper, right? Like, how did they achieve those numbers?
Yeah.
What challenges did they overcome? This gives you a much better sense of their problem solving skills and their overall sales acumen.
So it's about going beyond the surface level and understanding the why behind their success. What else should we be looking for?
Focus on skills development. The sales landscape is it's always changing, right? So you want someone who's adaptable, someone who's eager to learn new things. Look at their career trajectory. Have they taken the initiative to expand their skill set? Have they mastered different sales methodologies? Do they have experience with the latest sales technologies?
So we're looking for continuous learning, not just someone who's been coasting on the same skills for
Yeah.
years. That makes sense. What's the final question that Davis suggests?
The final one is about personality fit. This one can be a little trickier to assess, but it's just as important as skills and experience. You need to figure out if this person, if they'll actually thrive in your company culture. Will they mesh well with the team? Do they have the same drive, the same work ethic? Because remember, skills, those can be taught, but it's a lot harder to change someone's personality.
Right. It's that old saying, hire for attitude, train for skill.
Yeah.
And when you consider, the impact that a negative personality can have on team morale, it really shows you how important this is.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes, you have to be willing to pass on a candidate, even if they have amazing sales skills. If their personality is just a bad fit, it's not worth the risk of disrupting your team dynamics.
Yeah, that could be a tough call, especially when you're under pressure to fill that position quickly. Speaking of speed, let's go back to Davis's second step for a second. That 3-week interview process. I can imagine some of our listeners might be pushing back on that a little bit. I mean, in some industries, or for more senior roles, that timeline it might just not be realistic.
Yeah, you're right. It's not a one size fits all solution, but I think the underlying principle is really important here. It's about recognizing that there needs to be urgency and efficiency in the hiring process. You need to respect the candidate's time. Show them that you're a company that moves quickly, that's decisive.
So it's more about adopting that mindset of agility than
Yeah.
rigidly sticking to a specific timeline. And you mentioned earlier that Davis suggests using role play scenarios. That's a great way to assess skills in action.
Exactly, and it gives the candidate a chance to actually experience what it would be like to work at your company.
Yeah.
You can see how they handle objections, how they think on their feet, how they build rapport.
It takes them out of that theoretical realm of answering interview questions
Yeah.
and puts them in a real world selling situation.
Yeah.
Much more effective than just asking, so tell me about a time you closed a difficult deal.
Oh, absolutely. And if you've done a good job of defining your ideal candidate and structuring your interview process, you should be able to make a really informed decision.
Yeah.
Within a reasonable time frame.
So we've got our rock star candidate. We moved him through the process, quickly and efficiently. What does Davis say about making sure they actually succeed?
That brings us to the crucial step of onboarding. And here, Davis, he doesn't pull any punches. He believes that way too many companies just take a sink or swim approach to onboarding, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, we touched on mentorship a bit earlier, but it sounds like he sees that as a non-negotiable part of onboarding.
He does, and he's pretty specific in his recommendation. He says that every new hire, they should be assigned a senior sales manager as a mentor, someone who can guide them through the company's sales process. Share best practices, provide feedback, and help them navigate the company culture.
It's about creating a support system, right? Giving them the resources and the confidence they need to really hit the ground running.
That's it. And Davis, he actually goes a step further. He argues that the manager's role is so crucial that he uses a pretty strong phrase to emphasize their responsibility. He says, "Don't allow failure to even be a possibility."
Wow, that's quite a statement. He's really putting the onus on the manager to set their new hire up for success. But realistically, I mean, isn't there always a chance of failure, no matter how good the onboarding process is?
Of course, of course. There are always, external factors, individual circumstances, things like that. But I think what Davis is getting at is the importance of creating a culture where failure just isn't seen as an option. It's about fostering a mindset of success. Providing that unwavering support and equipping those new hires with the tools and the training they need to thrive.
It's about setting clear expectations, providing consistent feedback,
Yeah.
and addressing any challenges or roadblocks head on. Right, essentially, creating an environment where new hires feel empowered to succeed.
It really is. It's a win-win, right?
Yeah, for sure. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into Davis's article, there was one thing I wanted to touch on. It was about that crucial 90-day onboarding period. He really emphasizes making sure that those new hires they have a solid sales pipeline by that 90-day mark.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's not enough to just get them through training
Yeah.
and all that. You got to make sure they're actually ready to generate revenue.
Mm.
To contribute to the team's success. And a strong pipeline, that's a key indicator of that.
It's about making sure those early wins start coming in. It builds confidence. It reinforces their decision to join your team, and it sets them up for long-term success.
Absolutely. And Davis, he really drives home this idea that the manager is ultimately responsible for this success. It's not just about hiring someone and then hoping for the best. You gotta actively invest in their development, give them the tools and the support they need to really thrive.
And he used this great phrase to highlight that point. He says, "Don't allow failure to even be a possibility."
Hmm.
Mm. It's pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yes.
It really speaks to that level of commitment and ownership that managers need to embrace.
It's a bold statement, but it really underscores how important it is to create that culture of success.
Mhm.
Where everyone is invested in each other's growth and development. And when you have that kind of environment, the results they really speak for themselves.
It sounds like Davis is he's advocating for a very hands-on approach to sales leadership. It's not just about setting quotas and tracking numbers. It's about being actively involved in the development of your team.
Exactly. It's about coaching, mentoring, giving feedback,
Yeah.
and celebrating those successes along the way. It's about creating an environment where salespeople
Yeah.
feel supported, challenged, and inspired to reach their full potential.
So to sum it all up, building a high-performing sales team, it's not just about finding those talented people. It's about creating a system that supports their success from day one. It's about being clear about your expectations, moving quickly to secure the best talent, and then providing the guidance and the resources they need to hit the ground running.
And it's about recognizing that investing in onboarding, that's investing in your company's future. The more you invest in your people, the greater the return you're going to see in terms of revenue, growth, and overall success.
When Nathan Davis's article, it's a fantastic roadmap for any company that's looking to build a winning sales team. We highly encourage you to check out the full article. We've linked it in the show notes.
And as you implement these strategies, we'd love to hear about your successes. What are your secret weapons for building a winning sales team? Share your insights on social media. Tag us. We're always looking for new ideas and strategies to share with our listeners.
That's right. We're all in this together, right?
Yes.
Let's keep the conversation going and continue to raise the bar for sales success. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.